Welcome everyone to AZTFN News or AZTF News. My name is Matt Sherman. I am one of your hosts of this show, and with me we have Jordan Forche. Jordan, feel free to introduce yourself to the audience.
Hey, I'm Jordan Forche, founder of CryoX. We're a hardware company. We make active cooling paint.
Jordan has been in the Arizona startup scene for a bit, and if you didn't catch the idea here, the last co-host was Philip. Today is Jordan. We might have a different person next time. We're just kind of like experimenting with these different formats. But Jordan's an OG in the Phoenix startup scene, so wanted to have him on. What is the first thing we want to jam on? We were I feel like in the last one we talked a little bit about data centers, but I want to like do a little bit of a deeper dive on like what's going on in Phoenix, and like why everyone's building data centers here. What have you learned? I think you like ChatGPT some stuff. Like tell me what you have on the data center rush for Phoenix, Arizona.
Well, we all seen like the QTS data center right off the freeway on the way to downtown Phoenix. So on the right side, as you're driving, you make that bend around, and you see this big building with the red QTS on it. Believe it or not, there's actually three others. There's three others of those QTS data centers, and they're all pretty massive. I'm looking now; they all have massive 80-acre whatever capacities, 206 in Avondale. Massive data centers. And I saw this really interesting like tweet on X on tweet, whatever, where people were saying, do we want to have these massive data centers right in suburbs? And I thought, like, that seems kind of odd. Like, if you were to have any sort of business, it would make sense to have a data center near you because there's like no noise. It doesn't have weird smells. Like, there's all sorts of other industries that you don't want to have in your suburb, but a data center, but there might be other costs too, right? I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I for me, like I don't know what the downside is. Like for I think the downside of having a data center near residents and near kind of in the middle of the city is the same thing as like, and this is like not an educated view, but it's just like a view. It's like the same thing as that if like a big stadium gets built near you, or like a big something that attracts people gets built near you. I think the difference with data centers is that they're not like, and again, I could be wrong, but they're not kind of like consumer focused. Data centers are like they're it's not like an amusement park where you have people going there in and out. There's a lot of traffic. Sure, there's people that work at data centers, but I get the impression that data centers obviously are just like the oil of the 21st century. I'm just like don't quite understand why Phoenix has emerged as like the lead. I don't know if it's the lead. Is it even considered the leader? Like, let me see. Top 10 cities for data centers in the USA. Let's see what ChatGPT says, because we got this news from Chamath Palihapitiya, who's investing a lot of money into a data center about 50 miles west of Phoenix. You got QTS that you just mentioned. There's like Facebook doing data work here, and it's like why like what is that even, what is the implications of this that would like, and why Phoenix? I think Philip on the last call mentioned that we have a lot of people that are kind of savvy in real estate, and because we people in savvy in real estate, we have a lot of space. It's a good place to build, but at the same time, there's issues. There's talked about issues of like water. And these data centers use so much water, so why would they go to the desert to build them? And like I don't know. Have you found anything else on ChatGPT, or do you have any of your opinions on this? I got ChatGPT running for me too after you answer.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a little bit about what it said. I think ultimately it's economic factors that bring data centers. It's a massive investment, right? And it is an investment. They don't pay for themselves immediately, like most industrial things. There is a section of time in which you are trying to recoup that cost. And you have to think about, how do you save money? Well, number one is your outright purchase cost, right? What's your real estate cost? Arizona is known for having large plots of land that you can purchase, and there's not a lot of ifs, buts, or what's about it, right? The zoning, I guess, for it is pretty open here. I mean,
there's just a lot of room. It's like there's like a lot of room to build. Yeah, that makes sense.
If you wanted to build a data center in the Phoenix area, you can build it on the outskirts and still get employees to come in nearby. I think Arizona also has a rather technical talent pool. A bunch of ex Intel people, GoDaddy, that kind of thing. I think that would help at the very least. I mean, as for the water thing, a lot of them use closed loop here. I mean, obviously they're aware they're in a desert when they're building these, so they do everything they can to, not just be running through water. Otherwise, they got to pay.
So for those that don't understand what that means, including myself, what does closed loop mean? Like in this context?
Yeah. So the reason water is used is for cooling, essentially. You can close that loop by having a larger like condenser decompression cycle. Like, so when you have your water, you can use it as a medium to heat, just like an air conditioning unit, and then you put your water through the thing and it grabs the heat from the servers or whatever in your building. Usually it's just powering like basically a large swamp cooler, and then you have like a radiator that acts as a decompression cycle. At least that's what I assume that they're using these for. But a lot of them use a closed loop system where instead of like just releasing the water out and being done with it, they just like keep reusing it over and over again. It's not hard to build those systems. It's just some places it just doesn't make sense because they have plenty of water, but here we don't. So
that makes a lot of sense. So it's like if this is a simple oversimplification, but if a data center uses 100 gallons or a million gallons of water, they're not going to use more the next year. They're just going to keep using that same million gallons over and over and over again in a perfect world, at least. Is that right?
There's losses. They might expand more. It might be seasonal. I'm really not certain on. I'm not like an AC guy, so I'm not certain on the exact scale and like actual type of technology they use in these systems, but it's just for cooling. That's what I can say. It's just for cooling. It's not like the computers are drinking water.
Yeah, totally. So, I ChatGPT why did Chamath pick Arizona, and Philip from the stream is right. So number one reason is vast. Lots of land in the West Valley, easily power to access to power. Arizona permits rezoning for large scale industrial projects like this. You mentioned this, Jordan. There's strong collaboration with real estate experts. Again, like this is something that Philip mentioned. Here's interesting: targeting AI driven demand. The project is explicitly designed to serve artificial intelligence customers, positioning Arizona as a future AI infrastructure hub. Hello, TSMC and Facebook. There's a pro-tech, business-friendly environment in Arizona. I would agree. And it's also proximity to Silicon Valley, right? He could fly here, in 2 hours. I'm assuming he lives in SF, at least one of his 7 houses.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're not that far from the West Coast. I once had a professor describe it to me where Arizona is actually like in a really great spot because we have a level of isolation and interconnectedness. Right, our level of isolation is that in terms of day to day, everyone in Arizona is pretty much from Arizona unless you flew in that day. We don't have a lot of people from other places like the East Coast where it's like an hour to another state. For us, it's 6 hours to the next state. Right, in any direction, right? So we're in a little bubble,
very different
locally. But at the same time, like in terms of trade, commerce, people who actually do get on those planes, we're pretty connected with the West Coast, which is home to Los Angeles, entertainment capital of the world, and upcoming defense capital. And also you have San Francisco, which is, as we all know, the tech startup capital. So, right, we have these industrial powerhouses. We're right in the proximity. We could make a triad. It's not that hard, especially if we get all this AI and shipbuilding stuff here. We can make a pretty cool triad.
Triad, is that similar to like LA, SF, Phoenix, or like what do you mean by triad?
Yeah, LA, SF, Phoenix. I mean, the flights are cheap enough already, so.
And we also JSX flies to all three categories. I haven't flown JSX before, but I'm planning to soon. Do you know what JSX is?
No, I'm more of a Frontier guy.
Yeah, this is the opposite of Frontier, but it's not the opposite. The opposite of Frontier. It's the private, but private public. So it's like a little more expensive than a Southwest or an American, but it's a plane with 30 seats. It's luxury. It's not like super luxury, but it's way more luxury than a Southwest or an American Airlines. And they fly to Oakland, and they fly to San Diego, and they fly to LA, and they fly to Phoenix and Las Vegas. So, but they don't fly like middle of the country or across the country. So it's another benefit. I agree. It's like interesting to think like all this is going to Arizona. which is like props to the folks that are making this happen. I don't know if that's the ACA. I don't know if that's like the GPAC. I don't know if it's just like Arizona being prime without anyone's help. But like it's pretty exciting to see Chamath talking about Arizona in his tweet, that goes out to millions of people, right?
Yeah, and also our electricity cost is really low here. I saw a thing. Somebody was like talking about how to drive like a Cybertruck, it was like more expensive than if they were to drive a gas truck in terms of electricity. So I dug into their numbers, and it's like they're paying almost like 35 cents a kilowatt hour for their electricity, which is nuts. And I looked up where that is, and that's California. And I looked at the gas price. They used a national average instead of a local average, but then they used a local average, their local electricity cost. So it wasn't even a fair comparison. Didn't even make any sense. But it's like I'm paying like 12 cents. I can imagine that TSMC and the other data centers might have maybe they have a good deal. I don't know.
That's fascinating. I never thought
it's a lot of money
about that angle.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to like you get that discount or you get a lower price, by going outside of California, but you still have close proximity to California. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm excited to see how it plays out and grows the state. Before we let our first guest in a few minutes, Noel and of Notary Every Day, I do want to take a quick look at a portfolio of a local VC fund. So Monsoon Ventures, our good friend Mike Randall, announced their first fund investment. So I just want to take a quick gut check on these and see if anything stands out to you, Jordan. And I'll have some thoughts as well. Let's share my screen here. All right. So these are the investments. What is the first thing that stands out to you? Anything? I'll give you a second to browse, even the people viewing too. Let me know. I don't know. What stands out?
Definitely Sinatra. Hi, Adam.
Yep. Yeah. Hello, Adam.
Yes. Algo Face. I've seen them pitch at what's it called? GCU pitch event that they do, and I've seen them kind of make their way around. I haven't heard of the rest of these. I don't know carbon capture. That's like such a generic name. I know the category, but like I don't know
it's a very
company.
It's like the same thing as naming your company like this. I wrote a post for AZTFN on Fountain, like fountain.com. It's like very, very generic. I know Neon, they do like essentially signage for restaurants. They've pivoted a couple of times, but I think they found something pretty legendary. And I also know Scola from several years ago. A founder that I know lightly well, who I just think is a complete and total machine, is Hypergame. The way that Hypergame works is like, and I'm going to screw this up, but in general, they, help folks with cybersecurity, and that if someone's trying to DDoS, a data system or an account, they essentially, with AI's help, take that person or that bad actor through a loop that they think they're getting closer and closer to getting to hacking a system, but in reality, they're just sharing more and more information about themselves. The guy behind it is it's like a cybersecurity like nerd in the greatest way. I haven't talked to him in a year or so, but like I'm pretty excited about Hypergame.
That sounds cool. I used to run tech support, and I got really into cybersecurity, and that is fun. That's cool. Messing with the hackers, love it.
Yeah, it's messing with the hackers. Let's go. All right. Well, any last thoughts on data centers or Monsoon's portfolio or anything else before we let in our first guests into the room?
I think that's it. Let's hear them.
All right. Well, we got Noel and Ryan Serrato joining us from Notary Every Day. So let's let them in. All right, Noel, can you hear us all right?
Well, hear us all right.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
There we go.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. How you doing? I think Ryan's joining too. Do you see him on here?
He will when he joins, we will let him in. No issue at all. But let's just kick it off because we only have 15 minutes for now. Tell us, give us a little brief intro into who are you and what are you cranking on?
Yeah, so my name is Noel Serrato. I'm a software engineer, worked in FANG, and also used to work at State Farm as well. But Basically, what we're building over here is, and let me go ahead and map this. So what we're building over here at Notary Every Day is that we understand that there's a problem in the notary space, and our company is named Notary Every Day. We're a software as a service company. We aim to be the Stripe for notarizations. And essentially, we understand that perfect notarizations require perfect humans today. And we know that humans aren't perfect. So essentially, what we're trying to do is we know that the industry is in the notarization space is broken, and they have to pay expensive middlemen to really fix that notarization process. And so typically they're paying about $150 for every notarization. And for those of you who don't know what notarizations are, those are just essentially when you buy a house and you're signing let's say you're signing a loan document, you have to get it notarized for it to be recognized by the state legally. And so right now that's a manual process, and the industry has to pay really expensive middlemen to kind of solve that problem. And so our solution is really to turn every notary that does this manual human process into a perfect notary with AI assistance. And so essentially, we're developing an AI system that made the impossible possible, and we're looking to integrate notaries to power them with AI throughout this entire process. Right now, we built a software as a service platform that handles around 100 plus transactions a day. And right now, what we're doing is we're onboarding around 500 to 1,000 new notaries every week. So our platform's kind of growing. And my brother and I started this not too long ago. My brother Ryan, we started this a few months ago, and so we're just picking up steam, and we're really just trying to make a name for the notaries in the industry. They're kind of underlooked, an underserved community and niche, and we're kind of trying to bring that to light and offer them software that a lot of companies have kind of looked past in the past. They kind of
So
look past the notaries, and that's what we're trying to do is fulfill that.
so like I know very little about the notary space. Like I know what it is. I've got one. I've used one in the past, but like you said, you're onboarding like 500 plus per week. Where do you even? I mean, like don't give up your secrets, of course. But like where do notaries like where do they hang out? Like how the hell are you onboarding 500 plus a week? That's wild.
Yeah, I know that is kind of crazy. They're everywhere, man. They're really everywhere. There's hundreds of thousands of notaries in the U.S. alone. Like I think there's actually in the millions, if I'm not mistaken. So they're pretty much everywhere. I mean, even I was a notary in 2020 in the state of Arizona. It's a very low barrier to entry market to get in. You take a test and you get your license, and it could take about a week or two, and you can legally start notarizing documents. This isn't legal advice, by the way, so I don't recommend you go do that. But yeah, they're essentially hiding where we're getting I guess the signups from is, and I'll tell you some of the sauce is we found a way to work with the middleman companies that I was telling you about. And essentially what they do is they use our platform to find notaries, and we partnered with a database company that has a bunch of these notaries that are ready for work. And essentially what we do is we use AI and machine learning to categorize the notaries based on third-party data, find out who's the best job for this fit for this order. And essentially these middleman companies go to our service. We send out blast emails and SMS to all these notaries that are in the nearby vicinity for that order. So let's say there's a house sale in Glendale. We find the top 150 notaries. We email them with our partnerships. And in order for them to respond to that job request, they have to sign up with us. So that's where we're getting a bulk of our signups from is job offers that we're able to send out through a partnership that we've created.
That's badass.
Yeah.
I got one more question, and then Jordan, if you have any, feel free to pop in. If not, I always have questions. But like, why did you like? There's something I'm missing here. Like, you became a notary in 2020. Like, is it a way to make money? Is it like a side gig? Like, why do people become notaries? Why are there so many? I'm just not exposed to this side of work. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So, I mean, although I was a notary, I wasn't making a ton of money off of that at the time at all. My brother Ryan did. He was like a full-time notary, and he helped co-found a $1 million signing service, which is a middleman company, and with my mom. And so my mom Irene, she owns one that's out here called Phoenix Notary Pro. Anyways, notaries make a lot of their money typically from doing loan signings. So loan signings is essentially real estate documents, HELOCs, seller packages, and all that. Whenever you're buying a house, that's a loan signing. That's what we consider it. Notaries typically are known for making $10 per order that they do, But when it comes to loan signings, requires a next level of education to be able to handle those types of documents for notarizations, which require more education, which is you could take a course online and learn about it. And they are able to make almost $100 per order instead of 10. So it takes like an hour to do the signing. They just made 100. They go drop off the docs, and boom, and they make a lifestyle out of this. That's how my mom started. That's how my brother started. And essentially, what they do is they get their loan signing, loan signing education, and now they could take on these big $150 checks for doing notarizations. And they literally, some notaries make $1 million a year off of just notarizing. So it's a hidden market, and it's a really big market too. All mortgage companies rely on notarizations, manual notarizations that kind of power the mortgage industry. So it's really interesting.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Good on you for finding the little niche. Even if you even call it a niche, maybe it's a big niche. I don't know.
Dude, honestly, everyone thinks notaries make like $10 a pop, but really some notaries are making more than engineers, man. So it's a very big niche, but no one really talks about it unless you know someone in the space. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah. So next time you're like at a coffee shop, someone's signing and you see them with a stamp, dude, they could be making like 100,000 a year just doing notarizations. So it's pretty interesting, man.
It's like John Wick. I feel like I don't know. Are you a John Wick fan? Have you watched John Wick?
Oh, dude, yeah. Oh, yeah. I watched. I haven't watched the latest one with Anna. I forget her. Is it De Armas or something like that?
Yeah, the ballerina, right?
Yeah, ballerina, dude. I want to watch it, man. But yeah, dude, they're kind of in the shadows, bro. You don't know where they're at, and literally, you don't know them until you need them. So
Yeah, and then they just come out and they just like have this like the stamp, and it's like this analog. They write down that they made the stamp, and it's like this whole. I feel like the world you're. I feel like this is John Wick. I feel like John Wick came after this like notary world.
Oh, bro, yeah, dude, they're powering the underground market with all the analog stuff everywhere, dude. Totally. That's them, dude. They power every real estate transaction out there, dude.
It's honestly
There's
wild.
a-
There's like
yeah.
I'm gonna like make a post about notary world is John Wick. I don't know. I'm gonna frame it a little more eloquently than that, but
Dude, yeah, do it, bro. We can do a photo shoot with you too. Just have our stamps that we had in the past, and I don't know.
dude, Jordan, am I like? Isn't this like John Wick-esque? Right? Like with this.
Yeah.
Like, tell me I'm wrong. Like this is.
But
There's,
you're not wrong. It's the analog kind of this idea of to operate the underground network. You can't be in the digital sphere. You got to do it all in person. You got to know someone. I see what you're saying.
Dude.
So, you mentioned like you glazed over like, oh, you did Fang and you did this, then you did notary every day. Like Fang, like that's an important thing. Like where did you work? Why aren't you doing it still? Why'd you leave the silver handcuffs or the gold handcuffs? Like walk us through, where'd you work in the Fang world?
Yeah. So, I mean, primarily, I guess for Fang was like, I started off with, so I guess I'll start with my first job was over at Choice Hotels doing A/B analytics testing. Then I moved on to State Farm where I was doing just basic front end and back end engineering, and then led some product launches there. They gave me the opportunity to be a lead engineer over there. So I took the opportunity and we did automations for all the agent offices in the US. And so that's all our team did was how do we automate? And then I got a pretty good offer from Apple for it was a contract role, but they were saying, hey, can you help us lead a internal project? And I was like, oh, sure, dude. Yeah, of course. I totally took that opportunity and was able to basically can't talk about specifically.
Let's go.
Hey,
Apple.
let's go, dude. Let's go, bro. I got mine too. I got a case on that, but but basically leading a internal software product launch and doing it's kind of in like the cybersecurity space, but I'm focused more on product, not a cybersecurity engineer by any means, but I had to pick up on some of those skill sets. But it's basically internal product launch within that company for engineers. So that's as much as I can say. But yeah, that's essentially how the opportunity came around, and basically took all those chops and decided that I wanted to start working on, continue working on Notary every day and making it something bigger. And so, I decided to make that decision and just kind of go all in with Notary every day, man, and just make the most that I could with it and bring in all the experience that I've had in the past. And how can we scale? How can we bring like Silicon Valley-esque experience we can bring like enterprise level experience to a space that is ran by dinosaurs. Really, it's ran by people that raised millions. Even one of them came out of YC, and they still haven't solved the core issue that we plan to solve, which is the automation of notarizations and automation, but keeping notaries in that loop. And so we're trying to coin that term, by the way, notary in the loop. And it's kind of like human in the loop, but we're trying to bring the notary empower them with AI, because it's such an old school John Wick-esque style business, man, and it deserves new tech. And these companies that raise millions haven't really provided that technology or that solution. And so we think that with the advent of AI, that we can just totally take advantage of it, probably make the notaries more money per transaction. And so that's what we're aiming to do, man. Yeah.
What does that look like? What is like? Can you give an example of what like automating the notary work looks like for helping the notary in the loop?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a few different stages, and it's hard to not give out the secret sauce, man. But essentially, every notary today, they have three options. They have RON, which is remote online notarizations, IPEN, which is in-person electronic notarizations, and then they also have in-person, which is just like you go in person and do the stamp and the signing. What we plan to do is we plan to have AI before the transaction happens. So when a title company gets your home package that you want to sell, let's say you're trying to sell a home, that's going to come through the title company, first through your mortgage company, then through title, which is escrow, and then that from that origination, it goes to our platform to become notarized. We typically have those middlemen companies that use our software today to fulfill the notary services, and they find a notary for that document. And essentially what we do is before the signing is we basically use machine learning and AI and essentially pre-tag all the documents to help the notary know exactly where they need to stamp and where they need to notarize. We're still in beta testing with this new pivot that we're going to, but I'll tell you a little bit about it. And essentially what that does is it helps lower the error rate for notarizations. So whereas a notary typically has to have all the knowledge for that type of seller document from a different mortgage company and has to read all the special instructions, our AI automatically ingests all the information, the special instructions, the mortgage company, the type of document classification from OCR, and then we do all the pre-tagging for that document. Then the notary receives this pre-tagged document, and now they're able to easily go to the signing and know where not to mess up. And when they upload the docs, we also do a post scan. So we're able to tell, all right, they're missing these signatures, they're missing the stamp, and then we alert the notary. So we do pre and post. And what we're looking at doing is also adding the during, so while they're at the signing itself. And that's where the real secret sauce is. And I'll tell you guys about that once we do launch it. But that's going to change up the industry big time. And so we plan to do this on remote online notarizations, in-person electronic notarizations, and just generally in person. So
you're literally like just to continue with the John Wick references, you're like the one of the high table. You're like you're running the table, and like you're not a bad guy, you're a good guy. You're just like you're running the table on the whole industry, and you're helping to facilitate just like efficiency. You know, I don't know if that's what the high table actually does, but that's a compliment. I don't know.
I can't tell at the high table, you know, it's top secret, bro, but I'll get you
well, thank you for coming on. Where can someone learn more about you and Notary Every Day before we kick you off for our next guest?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to learn more about us, go to notaryeveryday.ai. That's our new domain. So notaryeveryday.ai is our domain name. And if you want to reach out to me or my brother, Ryan, you can connect with us on LinkedIn. So it's Noel Serrato, or you can reach out to Ryan Serrato, he's our co-founder. And so, yeah, if you guys ever want to reach out, feel free to connect. And if you guys ever want to become a notary or use it as an extra source of income, you know, we got a lot of opportunities here. So
let's roll.
We can help you train that. Yep.
Cool. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Matt, and thank you, Jordan. All right, talk to you guys later.
All right, we're rolling. That was sick. I learned like a lot. I honestly didn't think I could know so much about notarization in 15 minutes, but here we go. I have something that says I have an error. Do I sound fine, Jordan? Does everything sound fine to you?
No, you sound good.
Okay, cool. All right, here we go. London Josh Hansen. All right, Josh, can you hear me all right?
I can. How are you guys on my end here?
Sound like $100. Wonderful, wonderful. Welcome to the AZTFN live stream. We're excited to have you. Yeah, I don't know. Like you and I met just like a few weeks ago. You pitched at this ASU pitch competition. You did a very good job. Very like very buttoned up. Well, probably like one of the best, if not the best presentation. I'm just like, let's expose you to more people. In the Arizona tech world. So, feel free to introduce yourself and share what you're working on. We can just go from there.
Of course, yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me. My name's Josh Hansen. I just graduated ASU actually with a biomedical engineering degree. I grew up in Minnesota originally, spent a lot of time as a kid and in my teen years around the Mayo Clinic, and it's kind of the best healthcare ecosystem in the world. And so coming to school down at ASU, I chose from the beginning to do a biomedical engineering degree, kind of with the idea that when I graduated college, that was the network I'd be best poised to succeed in. Turns out that was exactly the case. I was able to go to Mayo Clinic last summer with an internship in the cardiovascular department and had some really unique opportunities to see this just ginormous problem, like on a scale of a problem I've almost never seen in their cardiovascular realm, where they have hundreds of patients every day coming through this ward with no idea the disease that they have. And oftentimes the problem is they leave the ward the same day still with no idea of the disease they have. And so that kind of inspired me to go off with some of the knowledge I learned there and start something on how are we going to solve this problem. I was connected with the entrepreneurship arm of ASU this year, who, yes, as you mentioned, were kind of able to get me integrated into the pitch competition network here, where I was able to win $20,000 from ASU to keep pursuing this. On top of that, we've been able to land another $50,000 in funding. I think our total is around, actually it's 83,000 now, so that's another $60,000 from people around the Valley. We've got a lot of support. I was able to go to San Francisco and do this, but yeah, as far as what we're doing, in a basic sense, it's a relatively complex topic for somebody who's not in cardiovascular medicine, but to really dumb it down, 100 million Americans are at risk of developing a disease with no symptoms. Okay, and so the goal here is that as of right now, the way we sit in cardiovascular medicine, the only way you can be diagnosed with this disease is to go through a long procedure of multiple appointments with a very low success rate. And so we see roughly 90% of diagnoses in this space are missed the first time. The product that we're building is going to use artificial intelligence in tandem with a very common cardiovascular technology called Doppler ultrasound to basically give you a 5-year heads up of what your cardiovascular health is going to look like. The idea here is that healthcare systems lose exorbitant amounts of money. I mean, a hospital will lose $25,000 per patient if they diagnose them late stage as opposed to early stage. And so this device is supposed to alleviate those costs for healthcare systems while simultaneously saving lives. This is the second most deadly disease in the United States, behind only one thing, lung cancer. And so we are trying to basically stop an epidemic before it starts.
Okay, this is incredible work that you've started and that you're working on. One thing that I'm curious about is when would this be someone where like I'm in a home, like I just live in my house, and I would then use this device on myself so my future medical providers know where I'm at risk? Is this something where I'm in like a doctor's office and then they would give it to me? Walk me through when someone would engage with your product.
Yeah, so that's kind of the brilliant thing about this technology. It's very scalable. So currently what you would do is you would go to a cardiovascular appointment where you'd have to get referred, you'd have to get consults, and then you'd go to a specialized vascular clinic called a certified vascular lab. They would run a test called the ankle brachial index, and that's a very inaccurate procedure by comparison of the device that we're building. And they'll give you kind of a score of how high of risk that your peripheral artery disease outlook is. Okay, so what we're going to do is right now, yes, you're treated in cardiology. This device will, yes, be used in cardiology on its onset, but eventually it's going to be so easy to use that people in family medicine can do this for you. And so when you go to your yearly physical or your yearly checkup with your GP or your family medicine doctor, we're going to be able to put this technology in their hands so that now you're being able to be referred to cardiology and to cardiovascular medicine 5 years before you're to this inflection point in your disease, right? If you catch it before symptoms onset, your chances of surviving this disease are exorbitantly high. I mean, I think it reduces the 5-year mortality by 83%. So the goal is we're going to create a pipeline from family medicine to vascular medicine and trying to alleviate the burdens that cardiovascular medicine face right now in the healthcare system, while also, like I said, reducing mortality.
How have tell me more about ASU. Like I feel like you have to have been connected with Brent. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you've been connected with Brent Siebold. And I think you actually I'll leave it there. Like, what has it been like working with Brent and like ASU, and what has that support kind of been like? Because I believe both of you can see Jordan is wearing a Sun Devil shirt. I'm a proud Sun Devil class of 2016. It's been cool to watch them build out their program. What has your experience been being like a very recent grad out of like that ecosystem?
Of course. Yeah. Frankly, when I came to ASU, I had no idea the opportunities that they had for innovation, other than you see every bus drives by, #1 in innovation ahead of Stanford and MIT. Okay, that was great. But it took until the introduction to Brent Siebold and the E&I team where I started to really realize, like, wow, this is a great ecosystem for somebody with a good idea. Like, frankly, I'm really upset I didn't know about this earlier. It took me till my senior year to get involved. So Brent, I can't speak highly enough about Brent Siebold. He's a great guy. He has been very, very instrumental in the success of this idea, or even the fact that it hasn't died yet, just by being able to expose me to the people in the Valley, even so much as like the lawyers that I use today, our connections I got through Brent Siebold, the funding I've received. The first funding we received was because of Brent Siebold. So it's just like, I can't speak highly enough about him. He is one of the nicest and most down-to-earth guys I think I've ever met. I remember, funny story, I actually just walked into his office one day because I had been referred to him, but I literally walked in there and I brought one of these. I brought what currently exists for this disease diagnosed, and I slapped it on his desk and I said, this is what we have. I showed him why it didn't work and I said, this is what we're building. And I think his response was something along the lines of, why are you just coming to me now? It was really a funny exchange, but yeah, he's been a great mentor, brought me to San Francisco to do some work out there with a select group of ASU founders. I mean, this group has been very helpful.
Let's give a round of applause for Brent Siebold.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, the thing should be working. Hold on, there we go.
Very nice.
I love these little plugins. Yeah, Brent's great. I only got into the entrepreneurship scene at ASU when I was a senior, so I really missed the boat. What year were you when you got into the? Was it you were a senior? Yeah.
In fact, I think it might have even been my second semester of senior year. I don't even think I was involved in the fall.
Jordan, were you in the ASU like circuit for like Etson or Venture Devils? Like, were you in the circuit there?
Yeah, all the way from the beginning because I majored in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it's like, did you see it evolve at all, Jordan? Like from when you were a freshman to after you graduated?
Yeah, it evolved a lot. Part of it was like forced change, like during COVID, like the way ASU did all of its events, all of its outreach, all of Venture Devils itself, like had to change. And I think they also restructured a few different programs and moved around a few different professors and moved around some budgets during that time as well. So I think it's definitely gotten a lot better.
Yeah, it's I'd agree. I've been a mentor or a judge essentially the whole time. I did the first Venture Devils ever in 2017. Got 3,000 for Publoft. Feels like a long time ago. And then after that became a judge and really been a judge ever since. And it's been cool to watch it evolve. And honestly, cool to watch Brent just like be the guy. Like he was the guy back then with Air Garage, and he continues to be the guy 10 years later, which is great to hear. So Josh, what are you focused on right now for the company? Like, are you trying to get customers, trying to get contracts, raising, hiring? Like, what's the big focus for you?
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, my main focus right now is developing our first real funding round. So we're looking at a pre-seed round of around $1 million. I've been doing some looking at some firms out of San Francisco, specifically people like Pear Venture Capital. But yeah, that's really the focus right now. I have a pretty good outline of what we're going to look like as far as things to do with the right funding. But as people probably know that are watching this, I mean, medicine is one of the most expensive fields to innovate in. And so this really is kind of a crucial point of we need to land the funding and we need to keep the can moving down the hill. And so I've been doing a lot of work with some physicians at some institutions across the country to set up the pathways of, okay, we're going to have pilots here, we're going to have our FDA trials here, Our pathway is pretty straightforward with that kind of stuff. But at this point, yeah, we're just looking to network and to get into some of these venture capital ecosystems where we can raise the money that we need to keep this thing moving.
So let's say we have a time machine here, and it's 3 months from now, and Pear VC or Sequoia or Andreessen has given you the exact amount of money that you want, whether that's $1 million, 10 million, $1 billion. You got what you want. What are you doing with it? Like, if money were no obstacle, what would you be able to do?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fun question to ask. Of course, completely unrealistic in the entrepreneurship world, but that's awesome. Yeah, if money were no object, 3 months from now, we'd probably have a very functional miniaturized prototype for this technology. We'd have a full stack architecture built, and we'd be in the middle of our first work with some of these clinics across the country to get this thing implemented into clinical care. I've spent a lot of time interviewing vascular technicians across the country for the kinds of things that they want implemented. So it'd be cool to go back to some of those people with the stuff actually built out. That would probably be where I would see this thing in 3 months. If we really did have a blank check and we could do whatever we wanted at whatever speed we could.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that. I feel like that's a big thing in VC, because I think a lot of folks ask, like, what could go wrong, right? Like, what, oh, you have this big vision, what could go wrong? Like, this may not work out, that may not work out, like this. But a much more fun question, again, not as realistic, but also this is where the money is made, is like, what could go right? If this does work, how big could the company be? How well could this go? I think that's always a more fun question to ask.
Of course, I would agree. I wish it was that easy.
Yeah, well, it's like you got to answer the question and then get the person who's asking that to say, "Great, like we're gonna make it happen for you." That's the name of the game, right? Do you have any questions, Jordan, on your end? If not, I got one more. But anything on your end before we hop off?
I just want to say I hope that you're getting connected with the Cooley Law people. I mean, other med tech people out of ASU. Brent should have already connected with them. They're great. I'm just excited to see another hardware company in the Valley. So, great.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, this is going to be a software company in 5 years, not hardware. But it's okay. I mean, it's where it all starts. And as far as the law firm, yeah, I'm already working with them. They're great guys, and I can't say enough about Michael Houle, how generous he's been for the startups, at least for me and for other startups. I think out of ASU as well. It's really a good guy to have in your backyard for helping you get off the ground. So yeah, definitely a shout out is very warranted for him.
I think my last question for you is, if you were to give advice to any incoming freshmen at ASU who, let's say, they know they want to, if there's problems they want to solve, maybe they're thinking about a set problem, but they haven't started a company yet. What advice would you have for them? It could be ASU related or not ASU related, but what would you give an incoming freshman advice to?
Yeah, I think if somebody would have told me something when I got to school as a freshman, the things I wish I would have heard are twofold. I wish somebody would have introduced me to the entrepreneurial arm of ASU earlier on, because I think there was a lot of, probably not as big of ideas. This is a pretty large scale idea, but some smaller ideas I had that would have been very good to flesh out with some help from people at ASU, just to get kind of my hands dirty with the entrepreneurial space. But the other thing I would say that would be really valuable to hear early on is how important it is to immerse yourself in an ecosystem where you're surrounded by people that are the best at what they do. I mean, I really, again, can't speak highly enough about Mayo Clinic and the opportunity that presented. Being surrounded by the best cardiologists in the world every single day for an entire summer is the best way to see really where are the problems in the world. Because if you're at the place where things are getting done the best they can be, and you're still seeing a hole and you're seeing a gap, that's the gap you need to tackle. You don't need to tackle the gap that you see in the institution that's 5 years behind the curve, right? And so I think taking the time and the effort to meet the people that are at the forefront of your industry, whether you're, in aerospace and you're looking at Northrop Grumman, or you're in medicine and you're looking at Mayo, or maybe you're in, business and you're looking at Bain and McKinsey, like there's people that you can look at that are forging the path for their industries. Those are the people you need to find the problems with, not the people who are not in the lead.
Those are wise words. I think someone hearing that is going to get a lot of value out of that. Well, thank you, Josh, for coming on. Excited, as you know, I'm excited about what you're doing, already, and excited to help out. And I think you have a bright future with this company, so I'm stoked for you. And also, let's just one more time, let's just cheer for Brent Siebold. Yeah. All right, Josh. Thanks for coming on. See you next time.
Thanks, Matt. We'll see you soon.
Bye. Before we let Andrew on, I'm gonna try to. Does this work? Yeah. So we can Did I just flip sides for you on the stream? Or did anything just change for you?
No.
All right. Never mind. Okay. Well, let's Andrew. Here we go. All right. We got Andrew Ekbark live on the stream. Andrew, what's going on? How you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well. Is Andrew slightly quiet for you, or is that
Yeah.
my end? So
Yeah.
can you potentially get a little closer to the mic,
Uh-oh.
potentially, Andrew?
Yep, absolutely.
Cool.
Is that a little better?
Yeah, it's a little better, 100%. What's going on? We're talking to the reigning champ of Venture Madness. You're a celeb. What are you up to?
I'm excited. I actually got out of Arizona for a little bit.
Okay.
I'm with my wife's family up. You can see the cabiny vibe.
Very
Out of
cabiny.
the heat for a bit and enjoying the weather up in Washington State, where she's from, and certainly excited. It's been a good couple weeks, and sales are up a lot. And we just launched our fantastic You Matter movement today, which is quite exciting. Letting people get out there, grab a couple free cards, and give them out to friends.
So I want to dive into that. Before we dive in, for those that don't know what you're working on, just give everyone a primer of what's your company, what's Inked Greetings, what do you do, and then we can dive a little more into your campaign.
Yeah, certainly. Background on us is that we are an automated greeting and gift card kiosk technology company. So instead of the huge square footage inside of your typical grocery store, we replace it with a small print-on-demand kiosk that lets you rapidly select, personalize, and print greeting cards and gift cards. So we just actually launched about, I'd say a month ago now, gift card only technology as well. So in all of our kiosks nationwide, you can go up and just print out a gift card if you want that, or if you want the full gift card and greeting card, go for it.
Yeah, this is like one of the coolest. I don't know, one of the coolest experiences. I went into the Chandler Mall maybe a year a change ago, and I because that's where one of your kiosks are, and I was just walking, I don't know where it was, and all of a sudden it's just like this like massive structure, not massive, but like, a large machine that prints out these cards. And I literally printed out, I believe it was like my wife's birthday coming up. So I think I printed out like a card for her, and it was a great experience. I was then told, I think right after that's like an old version. You guys have since upgraded, but like it is just a wild product that you've built. So just like props to you and your team, man.
Well, thanks. We certainly appreciate it. It was that was our very first unit out in the field. And
That was
so
your
that
first
was a
unit. Okay.
a labor of love and a labor of hatred about spending about a week and a half straight inside the Chandler Mall trying to get us to work right. And
Yep.
so certainly when you launch a new product, you move really fast. Something new comes out. It took us a bit to honestly perfect that. And then even in like the most recent models, we've done just small, stupid adjustments, like kids unplug the POS device readers. It's just small little things like that we've solved and kind of locked down to make it more kind of user friendly, as well as though just from an operational standpoint, making sure everything's online at all times.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. We're gonna try something new here. Someone in the chat says hi, so I'm gonna try to show it on stream and see what happens. There we go. Scott Ferreira says, "Hey, Andrew." Scott, we're gonna applaud because you are the first person where we've shown your comment live. So we're just gonna clap for you. I love Riverside. I love this software. Okay. Let's dive more into your campaign. And then Jordan, I feel free to ask a question anytime. I muted you. You have like a little bit of background noise. It's fine. When you want to ask a question, feel free to unmute yourself. But with that said, yeah, say more about this campaign that you've launched. I think is it today that you launched it?
Just today, yeah. So we have realized kind of one of the best ways to market is to effectively let your customers market for you. So we've launched what's called the You Matter movement, which is really kind of inspirational, uplifting greeting cards just to give to a friend who might be down, promote mental health, awareness, make people happy. I mean, our number one goal as a company is to spread joy. That's like the basis of our company. So it actually gives out a preset template of 5 different greeting cards that you can give anyone you want, and they're cards like this, join the You Matter movement. It says, your efforts matter more than you know. Let's keep the good going. The strength it takes to keep going matters. Just things like that kind of give a nice positive vibe. And we're actually allowing people to sign up for this program, and it's completely free, and they can go to actually any kiosk nationwide. So there's over 100 different retailers they can go to today, or for the foreseeable future. Go grab those cards for free and actually give them out to 5 people that they care about. And it's really helping drive engagement. It's helping the stores get a lot of traffic in their doors. Is our hope and goal, and also kind of making a feel good story within their local community. So we're in a lot of small shops, small towns, where this can make local news. Everyone goes out and uses the kiosk. They like it and promote it to others. I mean, like in one town that we're in right now, we've sold more greeting cards in the last month and a half than the entire population of the city. So it's like it's this really interesting vibe we're getting into, where sometimes smaller communities can become a really big impact for us because they talk to each other more. They're more well connected to each other. They're kind of in tune with what's going on in their small towns, and we're just trying to make it accessible for everyone, and that's why it's free.
That's
So we'd
awesome.
love for anyone to jump on. Please sign up. inkedgreetings.com/YouMatter movement. It's entirely free. 5 cards. You can give out to all your friends. And then a cool thing as well that we're doing is if you actually post yourself doing 3 really small but easy good deeds and tagging Inked Greetings in the You Matter movement, we're sending you a $10 gift card. So absolutely go out, grab that Chipotle gift card or gift card to anywhere you can nearly dream of. I think we have about 170 gift card companies now on our platform. So please go out and do it. Spread the news.
This is awesome. I appreciate you sharing this on the stream. I think it's like I don't know if the word's like valiant, but it's just like what a fun idea. It's also a feel good idea. I think it spreads joy. That's the whole point, right? We do have a question actually that just popped in. This is going to be cool from Scott. Here's the question. He sees that you have a location in the Grand Canyon University shop. Very cool. Is that university roll-up part of your growth plan? How many universities are they in already? Thank you for a great question, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we are in Grand Canyon University. We love it there. We are actually a key partner. We have a key partnership with a company called ICBA. It's the Independent College Bookstore Association, and they handle the bookstores across a lot of college campuses in America. And we've seen massive growth in that sector. So right now, I want to say we're in about 20 to 25 college bookstores. And we're actually getting into the quite larger ones as well. Think of like University of Tennessee, the college campuses that have 50,000 or more people, as well as a lot in that 10 to 20,000 range. Definitely a great partner of ours. They're a really great business partner because they have a younger demographic, and so there's no real kind of uptick in technology. So people can learn really rapidly how to use the kiosk. They don't need a merchandiser. They don't need someone to walk through it with them. And sales generally pick up really quickly over like a 2-month period, versus in a typical grocery retail outlet, it can take 4 or 5 months without a merchandiser to reach that kind of growth over time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's how else do you think about? I have a question, and Jordan, if you want to pop in, feel free. How else do you think about like placing kiosks? Is it just like anywhere with people? Is there more strategic? Like how do you place them?
We're getting a lot more selective now because we have a lot more people reaching out to us, which is great. Every week we get about 3 or 4 stores, honestly, cold emailing, mostly Sammy through. We have a Wix form online, super simple website for that. They submit their store. They say, hey, this is why I want a kiosk. This is how much traffic I have. I think we can get it for this and this and this reason. We're kind of cutting down on the number of small independent stores. So for instance, like small independent pharmacies, we're not really going to go into them unless they have a really compelling story, really high traffic, or something similar like that. We're transparently now focusing on finalizing contracts with a few of the major retailers. So think of like the Walmarts of the world, the Myers of the world, the BJ's Wholesale of the world, because transparently, Walmart gets, I believe it's over 100 times the traffic of our existing store locations. And so when you start multiplying a factor of 100 or even 50 or 20x on our existing sales, it becomes a really lucrative model that we're trying to get into quickly.
Yeah, makes sense. Walmart that'd be cool. Any questions for Andrew, Jordan?
Yeah, from a technology perspective, like what's the next thing you want to do? Like if you could wave a wand and have some sort of technical improvement to either your kiosks or the flow, or I don't know, put ChatGPT in a card. I don't know what it is. Like what is your dream technological improvement you can make?
That's a great question. I think in the very short term, we're launching a lot of cool updates around like the user experience and flow. So just really simple dumb things like autocorrect, or like it puts the little squiggly mark when you misspell something or put an O instead of a zero, like things like that that make it so it's way just more simple when you're typing on a kiosk versus online. Though we are seeing a surprising amount of people now order on their phones and pick up inside stores, which is great because we attribute it to traffic within the store. We give the store credit for that. And it's a much simpler, faster process on your phone. In the mid to long term, we're launching a really ambitious kind of center of gifting, essential part of our company. So what we're realizing is we have tens of thousands of customers. We have tons of accounts. We have lots of data about how people enjoy gifting, where they shop, how they shop, what they shop for, and then we also know what people like to get. And so with that usage right now, we can build that into essentially a platform where, hey, I know Matt goes to this store. I know that Matt is going to get Jordan a birthday card because he got him one last year. And I know that Matt last time got him this gift, but Jordan actually wants this gift based on his wish lists and based on his interests and based on what has even just openly said that he wants connected to his user account. And so with that in mind, Matt can get Jordan that perfect gift at any time and print it right on the greeting card. So we're jumping into not just greeting cards and gift cards. We're jumping into, for instance, like we've very, very briefly, we have a connection to the founder of Robinhood, fantastic guy through Tim Draper. You know, how can we integrate cryptocurrency or stocks, giving someone a stock on the back of your greeting card? How can we integrate things like a Walmart gift or an Amazon gift? We're doing all of that in-house, which is what we're also obsessed with, building everything in-house so we can move as fast as we can. I mean, Heroku went down yesterday and it nearly gave me a heart attack because it affected a couple of our customers' flows. Like we're trying to do as much as we can in-house because we can move so much faster. When something goes down, something goes wrong, we immediately get it back up, and it lets us just upgrade on our existing infrastructure. But we're focused on long-term, the center of gifting, and in the near term, just getting that user experience perfect. That's all that we care about.
Love that. That's great. That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are great ideas. I hope none of them are ideas in a year and they're all implemented because this is like the coolest vision ever.
Yeah, we've built out a good portion of them. It's just effectively putting it together now in a way that doesn't get us immediately banned by like scraping Amazon every day or scraping Walmart.com every day, which is good, but also it's something to tread on.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, is there any last words you want to share for folks listening? Any ask that you have around your campaign or just company in general? Anything else you want to share for last words before we hop off?
Two things. Number one, get your cards. Go to the inkgreetings.com/YouMatterMovement or go to the YouMatter Movement. Please order them. We're really trying to get virality for that. And then if you have any other questions or connections to retailers, just want to talk, go ahead, shoot me over an email. It's just Andrew@inkgreetings.com. But thanks so much for having me, Matt, and good luck.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Keep on crushing it. See you, Andrew.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. That was a good docket. I feel like there was three very different founders, very different companies, all doing cool stuff.
Yeah, they're really incredible. They all were like very competent in their fields, which is good to see from a founder. So good to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Did anything stand out to you in particular, like from any of them? If you want to call something out.
Yeah, I mean, I think each of them, if you want to have like a meta kind of broad, something that's similar between all of them, is that they're each tackling like a very specific problem within a larger, almost non-technical domain, and they're doing it in a technological way. Greeting cards for the past 100 years have been You go to CVS and you find yourself the card you want, and if they don't have the one you want, you got to go write it yourself. And that's it, right? Now they're like, well, what if you could just print it like there? It's like,
Yep.
oh, that's simple, but like then they take it further, right? Or like with the notary stuff, it's like, yeah, for the past 100 years, you got to go meet with the person in the Starbucks and have them stamp something. But what if they could do it faster and make less mistakes?
Yep.
Oh, who knew? Right? It's like that kind of idea. It's cool to see that. I think there's a few other startups that I know, other founders like Josh Su, who do that kind of thing, where they take like this kind of overall boring industry and they fix a very specific problem that plagues it.
Totally. I mean, that's like what's the quote from Heath Boy? It's like find I'm gonna screw this up, but like find a large fragmented industry and clean up. I don't know. That's like that's not the phrase at all, but you get the idea. Yeah, honestly, like I feel like Noel was that was fascinating. I feel like he's gonna raise $1 jillion. I don't think he knows it yet. But like this is a very interesting. It's very interesting. It's an interesting background. He just like I feel like he's very 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 deep in this world, and his family's deep in it. And I don't know. Like it feels like a big thing. I guess I don't know how big the TAM is, but I don't know. It's super super intriguing what he's doing and knowing how deep he is in the domain, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, any last words? Well, actually, before any last words to Jordan, we're gonna everyone in the audience, all 5,000 of you, we're gonna clap for Jordan for being an incredible co-host.
Thank you.
And there's more. I just for real. Thank you for hopping on. You're the set. You're I asked Philip last second. I asked you last second. It's kind of how we roll here at AZTFN. Any last words before we call it a day and call it a broadcast?
No, I mean, what do we have? When's the next broadcast?
Friday at 2:30, I think. I think Friday afternoon. Friday afternoon. So at some point on Friday afternoon, we're gonna do one.
Everybody better be there.
Yeah, if you're watching that, yeah, thank you for asking that, Jordan. Yeah, this is live on LinkedIn, it's live on X, it's live on YouTube, it's live on stream.aztfn.com. We got the .com. It's kind of a mouthful, but it's a .com. I think I'd prefer to have aztfn.com versus aztf.xyz/news. Would you agree with that? Like, do you think the .com's cleaner? What's your honest view on that?
az.tf if you can get it.
That'd be. I'm gonna check actually before this is the last thing, and then we're gonna call it a day. We're just gonna see. There's no way that is a domain, is right?
Everything's
no way.
Domain.
Yeah, it's just not available. It's just maybe somewhere it's available somewhere on
somewhere.
The
Somewhere's got it.
Somewhere's got it.
Maybe a country code. I don't know.
Right. Well, cool, man. Well, Jordan, thanks for hopping on. Thanks for being co-host for today, and I will see you off air. Salute, sir. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Bye.